at the different names for sea dragon. We have Leviathan, a monster, a dragon Leviathan, sea serpents. What else is there, you all? Sea serpents. Let me do this for a moment, you all. I've got a video uploading of the sunset. I really do. And it's taken a while to get that. Hello there, Apple Brooks, honey. So I'm going to do this thing on the, look at this. It's well with my soul, you all. This is, I come in here and this is what's on the wall. I thought, well, this is my room because it is well with my soul. Hello there, you all. I'm back here in my little cubby hole. I'm in my little cubby hole. But sea dragons, oopsie. Sea dragons, sea serpents, they're real. They really are real. You know, we have Leviathan. And wait. Yes, let's flip this around. It's in Norse mythology, mythical creatures. Why would they even include a dragon as a mythical creature? Can you all hear me? Let me turn this up. I think we got it. Okay, that's all the ones we got right there, you all. So is Cthulhu. Now let's think about, is Cthulhu a dragon also, you all? It could be a dragon. Cthulhu could be with wings. I think we did something on Cthulhu with wings. So look at that. And Smog. Remember Smog from the Lord of the Rings. He was a dragon, and his wings, he had massive wings, and he breathed fire. But look at that. I don't think that they're myth. Look at that. They look like a great big serpent is what they look like. Fantasy drawing paper, dragon mythology. The Bible even speaks about dragons. You may say, Gina, honey, you know that they not real. I know no such thing. I know no such thing. I happen to believe that they are real. There's too much documentation on dragons. There really is, for them not to be real. The Game of Thrones, I've never watched the Game of Thrones. I know that a lot of people do. I couldn't bring myself to watch it because first of all, I'd had to sit in front of the TV, and then it has some inappropriateness in it, I think. I don't like watching inappropriateness. You know, it takes my mind in a different direction than it needs to go. I need to focus on what I'm doing, and I really did. No, and it's violent too. I heard it's very violent in the Game of Thrones, but people like the Game of Thrones. And, you know, if you like to watch it, that's great. It really is. Hello there. Cthulhu is a fictional cosmic entity created. Yes, they say that was mythical. I don't think it's mythical. I really don't. But you may think it's mythical, Diane, and so may a lot of other people. They may not. Some people may not believe outside of this existence right here. They may not for one reason or another, and that's okay, it is. But some people happen to have a big imagination. I've got an imagination, if someone would like to call it that. Gina, honey, you just got an imagination. That's fine. Let me have my imagination. That's right, you all. That's exactly right. Beneath the Pacific. Yes, that's what I did my videos on, Diane. I have a Cthulhu playlist in the Pacific. So let's look at this. So I went over to here. Let me see if I can get this up here. So I looked up a sea dragon in mythology. A sea serpent or a sea dragon is a type of a dragon sea monster described in various mythologies, most notably Mesopotamian Tiamat. Tiamat. Why would they say Mesopotamian Tiamat? Okay, since when did they call the dragon the Tiamat, you all? When did they? I've never heard it called Tiamat. I heard that Earth was like Tiamat. Was one of the planets like Tiamat, but in Mesopotamia, Tiamat, they called a dragon, a sea dragon, Tiamat, in Mesopotamian culture. Did you know that? I didn't know it. That's the first time I've literally heard that. Judeo-Christian Leviathan, okay, and that's in the book of Job, Leviathan. It speaks about it. Greek is the Cetus, Echidna, the Hydra. Oh, you are, and the Cilia. Okay, I think we read about some of these, and I did a video in Romania, in the salt mines of Romania. Remember that? There was this great big net, and way down in the middle of the salt mine, they had like, they had this amusement park or something. And at nighttime, the area, it glowed blue. And there were these great big massive tentacles. They looked like great big old snakes that reached out from the sides of the salt cavern walls, and like they reached into that area way, way down below. And at first I thought, is that ropes? But no, they were wiggling. They were movement. They were intelligent creatures. They were moving in the salt mines of Romania on a live webcam on the webcam taxi. We were able to document it, I think maybe 4 times. And guess what they did? Somebody got note of it and they took the camera down. And we no longer was able to document it, you all, but it was so wild. It really was wild. That's right. So, and in Norse mythology, it's called the Jormungandr, History of the Northern Peoples. Oh, 1555. Sea monsters, and it's grouped into a legendary creature. They have a water dragon, a sea serpent. Did anyone say anything about Mesopotamia Tiamat? Because we could look into Tiamat. Let's see, Tiamat dragon. Tiamat dragon. Because I've not heard of Tiamat called a dragon. Oh, well, there we have it, you all. Now you know and I know. Right there. Tiamat. Oh, wow. Tiamat is a supremely strong and powerful 5-headed draconic goddess in the Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game. The name is taken from Tiamat, a goddess in ancient Mesopotamian mythology. First of all, if you're going to go ahead and label her a goddess and say it's from mythology, I'm just going to go ahead and say that she existed and she still exists, because that would make her an immortal. She is the queen and mother of all of the evil dragons and a member of the default pantheon of Dungeons and Dragons gods. Wow, I didn't know all that, I really didn't. I've heard of the game Dungeons and Dragons, and I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't. But I didn't know that this really was actually existing. That is really interesting. And they've got some pretty images of it. I mean, not pretty, but some cool images. Tiamat. I like to go into a wiki fandom. I really do. To see what they're going to talk about in the wiki fandom, because it has a lot of information in it. I'm not going to play that. I'm just going to do this right here. So, look at this. Look, they say this is a good article. Well, I bet it is. Tiamat, the dragon queen. And the dragon was furious, and it went to make war with something's offspring. The dragon queen, you all. Is that all of her heads? One, 2, 3, 4, 5-headed dragon. Well, that's interesting. And Cthulhu. How many heads did we figure out Cthulhu had when we were looking at Cthulhu? Because I can't remember. Um, the archdevil, the avaricious, I can't say it, Bane of Behemoth, creator of evil dragonkind, the chromatic dragon, the dragon queen, the dark lady, the many-mauled, the nemesis of the gods, the queen of chaos, the queen of eagle dragonkind. So Tiamat, personality, powers, realms, relationships, worshippers, clergy, church of Tiamat, 9 hells, creation of the first world, the rise of the dragon queen. Now, I am sure that there's a lot of people, young adults and maybe not so adult-like, and older adults that have played these games that know all about these dragons, these dragon beings, this dragon woman had one head. Oh, look at this. Tiamat was a unique chromatic dragon who had one head for each primary color of the most common species of chromatics: black, blue, green, red, and white. Didn't know that either. Each head was able to operate entirely independently of each other and had the powers of a member of the respective race of dragonkind. Her body also had traits in common with a wyvern, including a long tail tipped with a venomous stinger. She had 3 main avatars. The Dark Lady was a Mulan woman with long dark hair, completely black eyes. She always wore dark robes and frequently had a seductive smile on her face. That seductive woman. The Chromatic Dragon. This is her 3 avatars. The Chromatic Dragon, stubby legs, 5 heads, and could be any combination of head belonging to a chromatic dragon. Each skin of each merged into 3 stripes, blue, green, gray, purple, merged into brown skin that covered her tail. Chromatic dragon appeared in the form of a czar, manifesting into Shacinda, Dracoleek. Tiamat had 3, and the undying queen was a Draco Leech, the version of the chromatic dragon. 3 manifestations as well. Personality, she was arrogant, greedy, hateful, spiteful, and vain. She never forgave any kind of slight, focused on obtaining more power and wealth. She disdained mortals, regarding them as mere disposable tools in her schemes. When needed, she was charming and fey, but her self-serving reptilian personality betrayed her sooner or later. Wow, you all. Well, she sounds like some people today. Arrogant, greedy, hateful, spiteful, vain, never forgave any kind of slight, and was focused on obtaining more power and wealth. She disdained mortals, regarded them as mere disposable tools in her scheme. She was charming and fey and self-serving, and reptilian personality betrayed her sooner or later. So this is what she, according to drawing, she had this different colors of heads. So yeah, so she was that. But these dragons, they existed, and Tiamat, that was her. So there's mythical sea dragons around the world, and of course, you know, we have real mermaids. And what was this at, you all? We have the Chinese dragons. Chinese revere dragons a lot. Okay, they do. The dragons, um, they're not myth. They're not, although there are some who think they are. Gina doesn't, I don't believe they are at all. I'm not going to say I don't think. I'm going to personally say I don't believe they're a myth. I don't. I believe they're still out there, probably in a higher dimension. I think that they can make their way, themselves seen if they so desire, is what I think. Um, you can't force them out. That's, look, they are some of the most iconic monsters of modern fantasy, but their origins are ancient. Um, their origins are ancient. Widely depicted as large, intelligent, winged reptiles with furious tempers and a love of gold. Well, we know that the reptilians loved gold. They really did. Tiamat is another name for Nibiru. Yeah, see, that's what I heard too. I didn't know that they would name that as a dragon also. Did you? Named it as a dragon? They say the idea of the dragon is only one of many that have existed throughout history. Nearly every culture in the world had its own idea about serpentine beasts. So, how could every culture in the world have a story about dragons if they were just mere myths? How is that possible? Just like giants. If they were just mere myths, and the pygmies or the dwarfs, if they were just mere myths, why was there documentation about them if they were just ever from all over the world? If they were just mere myths, because they're not mere myths. They existed, but as time went by, they faded out of history, out of the minds of people and stuff. So they wanted to just sweep it under the rug, you all. Look at this, ancient creatures. While most modern depictions show dragons living in caves and flying through the air, in many ancient cultures, they were creatures of the sea. While most familiar examples of this are the Chinese folklore, many cultures have their own mythical sea dragons. Mythical. Um, yeah, all beings were big in the past. Um, That would make sense. It really would. I wouldn't say it's not possible. I'd say anything's possible in this world that we live in. And we have a history that has been forgotten about. It really has. Um, they had the zodiac. Why did they even make the zodiac with some dragons in it, you all? Um, and then you have dragons who were thought of as wise, physically strong, noble creatures. And people who were considered to have these traits were compared to dragons, while the weak and immoral were compared to lowly animals like worms and insects. That's what it says. They were, if you didn't have those traits, you were weak. The weak and immoral were compared to lowly animals like worms and insects. So you want to be powerful, you all. You really do. Very powerful. But that's like, oh my goodness, these dragons. Tiamat, the forgotten dragon. Um, I'm not supposed to be focusing. How am I getting on Tiamat? I want to be over here on this. These sea dragons is what I wanted. Dragons, all of these types of dragons. You can see them. Um, we actually have a collection of dragons in our house. We do. And they are blue. They are. They were collected over the years um, and hand painted, handmade and hand painted, which is pretty wild. It is. 16 sea dragons, you all. Water dragon mythology, you all. So, water dragon mythology. So, they've got a lot of information on it. Well, this looks like it's whatever that is, known as the Midgard Serpent or World Serpent, is a sea serpent and a middle child of Loki. Oh my gosh, now we're getting into Loki. I thought Loki was just something that never existed. And the giantess Angroboa. This sounds like a boa constrictor. Have you heard of this Jormungandr? Let's look at that up. Gander. I never heard of a Gander. Looks like it's a dragon. Look, world history. So if they've got this in the World History Encyclopedia, are there people out there that say that this did not exist? It's in the World History Encyclopedia. That's right, Puff the Magic Dragon, who lived by the sea. That's right. Um, the World Serpent of Norse mythology. Villains and fandoms. I think I remember reading. I think I did a video on these dragons in what was it? Probably this type of mythology, you all. And what is this one that talks? Roots and myths, the foretold fate. So what if you all one day you saw a beast rise out of the sea and it was like a big dragon? What if? What if you did? Would you say, oh, that's Project Bluebeam? It's a dragon, it's Project Bluebeam, it's not real, it doesn't exist, or it's just fake? Would you all say, if you saw a dragon, would you say, oh, it's just fake? If you saw one come to life, saw one come out of the sea, saw one flying in the air, literally land in front of you, and then you see something get burnt up with the fire out of its mouth, would you say that's all make believe? If you physically saw something burning from the fire in its mouth, and say, oh, well, that's Project Bluebeam. No. And this video may not be for everyone because they may not want to hear about dragons. They may not. But they have their place in history. And are these dragons part of the reptilians? Are they? Because these would be very big and very powerful. I thought we read Cthulhu could, he was described as, what was he described as? Apollon or something like that? That god of the sea or something, who could literally make himself as small as a bird and or the size of a human being and take on human form. Cthulhu could do that, you all. And if Cthulhu could do that, then that would mean he's like immortal and he's a shapeshifter, something like that. Okay. And we have dinosaur bones, massive dinosaur skeleton bones in museums. So if dinosaurs existed, why not dragons? Big, massive dragons. Just picture a dinosaur with wings on it. That would, I think it fits right into the picture. I really do. It's not too hard to believe that dragons existed and still do. If they could find the remains, like someone said, you believe everything was really giant back then. Okay, they could. And we have little bitty seahorses in the ocean, like, you know, little bitty things and stuff like that. You have winged beings in the sky too. So these dragons, Thor, look, we got Thor. Thor beating up the Midgard. Oopsie, did I do that? I sure did do that. He has a fierce battle with the monstrous serpent, the Jormungandr, and the foretold mutual deaths during the events of Ragnarok. The end of days are recorded throughout sources for Norse mythology. So this is Norse mythology. It's widely documented. You want to say that this don't exist either? And then look at our world. We've come so far off the beaten path. We got so many distractions in our world that we don't even have time, or nor do we even care to look back at what once was and may be again. Really, we may not. because we're too preoccupied with everything. And then why did they call this the end of days? Was that a reset back then also in Norse mythology? The Ragnarok, the end of days. Atlantis, that was also Atlantis, Lemuria. There was lots of resets that occurred. I don't know how many total, but I'm sure there's a whole lot more than what we have been told, you all. I really am. So it's wild. Gonna get these dragons on here again, you all, so I can get this thing done. Why does China have the House of the Dragon? Really? And someone said, oh, you all, why do they got that episode on here? The House of the Dragon. I thought this is a new series, I think. In the House of a Dragon. Why are they doing stuff about dragons? Because people want to hear it. 4 types of dragons. Are there real dragons? Komodo dragons are living, breathing dragons, even if they don't breathe fire. And we can see these again, you all. Look at all of these dragons right here. There's plenty of them. Plenty of pictures. How would we even know what a dragon looked like if they were not documented or spoken about throughout history, throughout the days of old? How could we even draw anything if there was nothing describing dragons being on the earth? Do you think somebody just dreamed it up? I don't think they dreamed it up at all. I think they really did exist. They're not myths. They're not fables. There's too much documentation on them, you all. There really is. Look at that. Look like lightning coming out of the mouth of this one. Or something else. Yeah. The nice drawing Harley gas tank. That's right. Considering Earth is 4 billion years old, it's all true. Humans are the new to the game. We are new to the game. And we don't even know it, Michelle, honey. So new to the game. I am going to be going, you all. I should do this short video on dragons. Because I've got this sunset loading on the YouTube also. And that's right. The dragons of old. Some say they don't exist. They're just myth. They're fables. There's nothing to them. That's what some say. Because they haven't read the history. They haven't looked into the myths. All they see is the here and now, and that's all they're focused on. They may say, well, what do I care what happened in the past, what existed in the past? Okay, you don't have to care. I care what existed in the past because it probably is not dead. It's probably going to come back in one form or another. You're liable to see it, you are. Dragons. Yeah, dragons. All right, you all, I am going to go. You can see your comments. And Monica D. Yeah, okay, see, I seen your comment. That's right, you all. You're liable to see the dragon again. And it may not just be symbolic. It may be physical dragons. I wouldn't want to see a lot of dragons flying around in the sky unless they were good dragons, really. I'd like to have a good dragon, not a bad dragon, you all. You don't want a bad dragon. You do not. So I am going to go. Thank you all so much for listening and being interested, even though this is short. I'll be glad when I get back to my big computer, my OBS studio, to where I can do a share the screen and I don't have to hold my phone and stuff like that. But that's okay, you all. I can do this. I can. We can do it. If I can do it, if you can bear it. That's right. If you can bear me holding this cell phone and showing it like this, making do with what I've got at the moment, that's fine. But I am going to go, you all. So with that being said, hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, you all. And thank you again. Hello there, T, honey. Yeah, Oh, I am enjoying it. We did a lot of hiking today. I'm a tad bit tired, but that's all right. Um, that's all right. Hello there, Susan B. Honey. Thank you, Apple Brooks. If there's any other moderators on here, thank you too. Love you all. Let me say this. I'm going to say it again if I haven't said it. So we're going to say it. Did I say it? I can't even remember. Hello, wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, you all. Good night.